to in this some quick facts about a strangulation or asphyxia. Loss of consciousness can occur within 6 to 8 seconds. In 15 and 30 seconds, you have loss of bladder and bowel control. In between 62 seconds and 152 seconds, which is about 2.5 minutes, you can see death. Some things that may change the time frames on this is, was there continuous manual pressure, or are they squeezing and releasing and squeezing and releasing? And this is very common in strangulation cases to see that, because this is a power trip, and strangulation is the most powerful form of control that they can show. They're showing you that they have power and control over whether you live or die and whether or not you can breathe. But what does continuous pressure look like? Well, it takes about 11 pounds of pressure to occlude the carotid artery, or about 4.4 pounds for the jugular vein. Put that into perspective, it takes 20 pounds of pressure to open a can of Coke. It takes 33 pounds of pressure to occlude the trachea, or your windpipe, and a healthy male handshake is about 80 to 100 pounds of pressure per square inch. So it doesn't take very much. The biggest thing to note, though, is the loss of bowel or bladder control. So urinating on yourself is super important. If they say something like this is a point where you have lost control of involuntary functions, and it's one of the closest places that you can come to death. The strangulation assessment card, I have paper copies in the office, and I encourage everyone to have one near them for reference. Strangulation is the ultimate form of power and control, but they may not call it strangled. They may call it choking or choked out, or have another term for it. The important takeaways off here are under the transport. If they have mentioned to you that they urinated or defecated on themselves, if they have trouble breathing or swallowing, these are potentially life-threatening signs and symptoms, and they should seek medical care. Once they seek that medical care, it is recommended that they have a CAT scan or an MRI to further investigate these. It is important to note that only about 15% of strangulation victims will have any redness or bruising to their neck from this event. So it's really important to look at those other signs and symptoms. So be sure to stress how serious strangulation is and the potential health impacts. These health impacts can include airway obstruction, stroke, or even delayed death that can occur up to 72 hours after the event. So it's important that they stay with somebody for up to 72 hours that they can trust, and who can help them monitor their signs and symptoms and document those for healthcare or law enforcement. And this includes monitoring their neck circumference, if they have a way to do that, to make sure that there's no increase in swelling, that it's not getting bigger. Strangulation is very serious, and it is really important that they try and seek medical care. It is only now being recognized how serious strangulation is. Spokane has been working with law enforcement, prosecution, and healthcare to create protocols and assessments regarding care of post-strangulation victims. Safety planning is huge. A person strangled by an abusive partner is about 750 times more likely to be killed by that same person. When following up with them, if they have decided not to seek medical care, or if they have sought medical care and are now back home, these are some things to go back and get more medical care or be seen in the first place. If they have difficulty breathing, trouble swallowing, if they're pregnant and they have vaginal bleeding, severe cramping, or if they are no longer able to feel the baby move, if they have felt previous movement, they need to seek immediate medical care if any of these things occur.